Timo, how did you get involved with Jeepers Creepers Reborn?
I was actually working. I was discussing at the film festival, Berlin Film Festival, I guess, with the producer Jake Seal, and we were talking about my earlier movie, sort of franchise called Iron Sky, and sort of figuring out if there's something we can be doing around that. And after the conversation, he said that he actually has a screenplay that he's looking for a director currently, and asked me if I'd be interested in reading. And of course, I said, "Yeah, what is it about?" And he said, "It's a horror film, but he wouldn't want to tell me the name of the film." So I said, "Yeah, of course, happy to check it out." And then he sent me the script, and that was written on the cover page, obviously, Jeepers Creepers. I'm like, "Wow, are you serious? This sounds amazing." And then, of course, started to dig into the whole thing. But that's basically how the whole story started.
Right, and Jeepers Creepers has been like this generation. We've grown up with this franchise, right? Because the first one came out when I was a teenager with Justin Long, and now it's kind of become this like sentimental value of like these fans that have grown up with it. So when you found out it was Jeepers Creepers that you were going to be directing, that had to get you excited as well, knowing there's already this built-in fan base with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was excited about the opportunity because I've obviously been grown up just like everybody else of my generation, sort of watching the 90s, early 2000 horror films, and Jeepers Creepers definitely was one of the most, one of the important ones in that thing. So I was, of course, interested, but at the same time, it was very important for me that I want to do this, but I want to do it differently. So that the idea is that it is not trying or even attempting to do the same things that the first ones did, but it's gonna be of its own. And it actually was echoed by the name of the film, which is Jeepers Creepers Reborn, with the idea of trying to uh, uh, you know create, revisit the franchise, but revisit that from perspective of current sort of audiences and sort of current intricacies, if you will, and find, ways to do something new and fresh about it.
Right, and you got this 3-night premiere thing with Fathom Events with Jeepers Creepers Reborn, so that also has to be exciting, knowing that how well Fathom Events markets their films in front of movies. Like even in the previews, before the previews begin, they're advertising for future Fathom Events, and knowing that you got a 3-night special with them, that has to be exhilarating as well to see how
Yeah,
the
I think it's
ticket sale does also for Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
sure, and it's very interesting. Obviously, we don't have Fathom where I'm from. I'm from Finland, so
Right.
Fathom is a little bit of as a concept, something that I haven't had a chance to experience myself physically, but knowing what it is and sort of knowing that the how well it's received and how well people sort of appreciate it, and what kind of fun it can be. I'm super excited because I think films like this and films that I enjoy, they are the ones that are best enjoyed when you enjoy them with a great crowd that's living with the film and sort of experiencing the whole thing. So I think that's it's amazing way to launch this film into the world.
Right. And how did the casting come about for Jeepers Creepers Reborn as well?
We were actually it all started actually obviously with the titular characters. So you need to
Right.
find the new creeper. Who's the new creeper? We went through, I think, over 1,000 people altogether, just interviewing, checking what would work, what would not work, and what was the idea that we wanted to what specifically was the vision, or what kind of a creature we want to create. And obviously the story and the whole idea of Reborn dictated slightly the approach to the creeper. So no more is the creeper this healthy and powerful sort of killing machine. He's grown old and he's in a dire need of a rebirth. So reflecting from that perspective, when we started to look for the person, I wanted to find somebody who has a great physical presence, has this sort of feral beast sort of addition to the whole thing, and but still obviously very, very physical actor, because it's a physical role. It doesn't speak anything. It's 100% physicality and zero dialogue. So wanted to find somebody who's able to capture that creature in its habitat of that kind. And yeah, it was a long process to find the right creeper. And then obviously after that we started to cast around the main characters for the film. We found young, very, very talented actors, not necessarily that well known yet in the big industry, because the idea was that it's a horror film. The idea is not to load it with the most famous actors yet, but
Right.
hopefully it'll launch them into known, in the good knowing. But anyway, that's something that we started to do. And yeah, it was a long process. Obviously, one of the challenges was because basically the moment I got Jeepers Creepers script sent out to me, COVID started. So the whole world went to a complete lockdown. So we didn't have, like, as a filmmaker, it's very important that, I mean, you need to go to places, you need to meet people, you need to have physical meetings. And suddenly all of that was like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And luckily, at the same time, obviously, Zoom and, well, other options, but especially Zoom, started to become more and more available and more and more sort of well known. So much of the casting process as we did in the safest possible way, which was through rigorous Zoom meetings, and it obviously is not the most ideal way of casting, but at the same time, it allowed us to go through a lot of people, maybe even more than the traditional casting process would have. And eventually when we locked into some people, we had multiple calls and multiple discussions, and that was all done. But yeah, many of the actors I met only first time when they arrived to the set, to do test makeup and stuff like that.
So speaking of like horror iconic villains, where do you rank the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers in your kind of pedestal of horror icons, whether it be Freddy, Michael, Jason, the top tier on the middle tier? Where would you rank the Creeper from the franchise?
Well, I mean, I'm a bit biased.
Right, of course.
But if I try to go back in the time before I knew that I was directing this one, the Creeper was definitely like, if there's the big three or big four, he was one of the big four, definitely. So like you said, Freddy, Michael, and then the Creeper, and then and Jason. Who else am I missing right now? I think he was there because there is something unique in the Creeper that's always made it stand out. So it's not just another crazy killer demon, whatever, but it actually has kind of a personality. And there's something about the personality you want to learn as a viewer or as a filmmaker. It's like, it's something to latch on and then try to sort of get into the head of the Creeper. And it acts differently than all the other aforementioned icons. So it's very, very interesting and fun to be able to play with a character like that.
Right. And so what are you looking forward to the most with Jeepers Creepers Reborn getting ready to come out?
Say again?
What are you looking forward to the most with Jeepers Creepers Reborn getting ready to come out?
Well, I mean, it's it's always exciting time. It's Halloween is coming up, so I hope it's just a film that's keeping people very, very scared and creeped out during this time and era. And I hope it fills the theaters and gets nice amount of viewers. But I think what I really hope is that the people who may not know the Creeper, or the people who have sort of had their history of Creeper but haven't visited that character, have a chance to see that, yes, there is an interesting new, it's not a new character, but there's an interesting character here, and hope that they will find it interesting enough to see a warrant a sequel and the story to take forward.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Infamous Horrors and Infamous Interviews today. It's been really fun, and congratulations, and we cannot wait to see the film.
Perfect. Thank you very much.